9:07, and good morning, y'all. This is Jabari, Dab Dub, and Simply Courtney, and we are the Wednesday edition of the Morning Grind. I want to stop down and talk to some good folks from the Mexicarte Museum, Bob Ozell and Sylvia Orozco. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, good. Excited. We're excited.
Awesome, awesome. I understand that you've got a really, really special program that's going to be taking place. I believe it's tomorrow or very soon.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yes, yes. Please tell me about that.
Maybe Bob would want to start because there's several events. Maybe we can go through that and I can talk a little bit about the reception.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we have a special day tomorrow because some members of the Native American tribe that used to live in Austin are coming down and coming down from Oklahoma. And the tribe is called Tonkawa. Most people have heard of Comanche and Apache, but the tribe that actually lived in the Austin area was named Tonkawa. And I never even heard of this tribe, and I'm not a member of the tribe. But I had the opportunity to meet some of these fine folks that have been moved to Oklahoma a couple hundred years ago. And these folks are coming back to be thanked by the city of Austin for something that they did 180 years ago in our city.
Wow.
So that's why they're coming down. And Sylvia and Mexic-Arte has decided to open up their place and welcome them and have a special welcoming reception for them tomorrow.
Well, Mexicarte is the most beautiful place. So if it was going to take place, it has to take place there because Mexicarte has a lot of great history as well, and a beautiful, beautiful facility, and very meaningful to Austin. So, Sylvia, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, I think most important is that we are bringing back history. We're bringing back history and acknowledging the original peoples that were here, thousands of years ago. And because this was the native lands of the indigenous people, and the Tonkawa people were the ones who were around this area for many years. And then later, of course, then the Spanish came, and then became Mexico. And so, but sometimes, we don't acknowledge, or for many years, we haven't acknowledged the past presence and the contributions of the indigenous people, of the Mexican people, the Mexican American people, and the African American people. A lot of people that were here in downtown in this area that helped make Austin what it is today. I mean, it wasn't even called Austin, right? It had
Right.
other names. It
Right.
had other names. But I think that this is quite appropriate. And I want to thank Bob and his team for all their work, and Marta Cortera for making this possible, because I think it is through the work of people who really want to understand where we as a community, our beginnings came from, that we start learning about it, and then we want to spread the word. We want to spread the knowledge so that we as a community can understand our history and welcome everyone who has contributed to it.
Amen to that. I actually just got a message from our social media guy, Harris. Shout out to him. And he said there are a lot of places that Tonkawa, I guess it is, Tonkawa. Hopefully I'm saying it right.
Tonkawa however it's
right. There are a lot of places that are named after them here in this city, right? Or have a meaning. Do you know any of that?
Yeah, so you would think there would be more places named after the Tonkawa tribe, given that they were in this area, for hundreds, if not thousands of years before we came. And they opened up their arms and said, settlers, come on in. Land is to be shared. They had no concept of putting a fence around a piece of property and having a deed of ownership. It was always a resource to be shared. So they allowed people to come, whether it be other indigenous tribes or white folk or whatever, to come and live in peace with them. So you would think that there would be more named, but there's one street. There's exactly one street. It's by Seton, on 38th Street. If you ever drive on 38, there's a little road on there called Tonkawa Trail. That's it.
Wow.
One street sign in a metro area of millions of people. One street sign named Tonkawa.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Well, it's time to reclaim what Tonkawa has meant to the city, and that's what this event is about. And if you're just joining us, we're talking with Sylvia Orozco and Bob Odell from Mexicarte Museum, and we're talking about a very important event that's going to be taking place, a part of Austin's history that a lot of folks don't know about. You know, and the thing about it is now, I think we've always relied on books. I think we're the book generation, right? But these days you've got information at your fingertips with your phone or your computer, and and Google has, I would say, about 99.9% of whatever you need. But it's important because we as human beings have stopped talking about that. We've stopped emphasizing where we've come from. And it was just say, oh, we're going towards the future. Okay, well, in order to build a great future, you really have to know the past. You really have to know where you started. So it sounds like this event is going to be a big part of that.
Yes, and I think we start with in the morning, we're going to be at City Hall with a proclamation. I don't know, Bob, you want to talk about the proclamation?
Well, the mayor has Kirk Watson has been the first mayor to reach out to the Tonkawa tribe in probably over 100 years. And he phoned up the chief of the tribe in January and said, hey, I want to congratulate you on a land purchase. I hear you purchased a small piece of land up about an hour north of Austin that you consider sacred mountain. Congratulations, and I'd like to invite you down to Austin. We'd like to honor you for your past contribution to our city. So that's kind of how it got started. And so that the mayor is going to make good on that promise, and tomorrow morning in City Hall, and do a small proclamation event and record that. So that's what Sylvia is talking about, starting at 9 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Go ahead.
And
Sylvia.
then we're going to go over then to Republic Square. Republic Square was one of the first, one of four public squares that were laid out with the founding of Austin in 1839. And around it wasn't called Republic Square, there was Hempville Square, but even before that, I'm sure it had other names, and including the Mexican Park and Chile Park, where the Mexicans also lived. But it was also part of the area where the Tonkawas did have. I don't know if actually they lived around there, but they did used to live around there, and so it's coming back to a place that was their home. And we want to welcome them. And Republic Square now, Mexic-Arte has taken, a leadership role in trying to bring back the recognition of those communities that once were there. And I don't know, I think sometimes things are magical or destiny. You know, how we met Bob and how we're working on the Fifth Street corridor to bring back Fifth Street Mexican American corridor, trying to bring back recognition of our ancestors. And so this year, we designed, and with the help of Claudia Aparicio Gamundi and the Downtown Arts Alliance, these beautiful banners, and one of them actually makes homage to the Tonkawa, and these are placed around Republic Square. And so we're going to receive them at Republic Square, show them also the banner, and welcome them, and then in the evening have a reception here at the museum.
Sounds good. And sounds like everything's starting at City Hall, though, right? Tomorrow morning at 9?
Yeah, yes, but the main public, there's not enough room at City Hall in their little bitty press room there. So we're having a bigger event at 10:30 at Republic Square. So 10:30 at Republic Square. It's anybody can come to that. Plenty of room, and there will be proclamations read and some announcements made about how the tribe's going to be thanked in the future, and it's going to be at the site of the Tonkawa campground where they camped for a year and a half while Austin was a city. They came into the city, lived in the city limits, lived cooperatively with the people of Austin, and helped protect us from these raids, from these Indian raids, from these wild tribes. So the Tonkawa was a friendly tribe. but they were good warriors, and so they came in and helped protect us during our time of need when our city had lost favor from the country, from the nation of Texas, and we were at risk of losing our capital status. So the Tonkawa came in and helped bolster the population of Austin, doubled the population of Austin in 1842, from 200 to 400, because there are 200 Tonkawa that came in, and they lived at this campground right at Republic Square. And so that's one of the things will be commemorated at 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay. So
Yes, and Republic Square is on the corner of 5th and Guadalupe Street.
wow, nice, nice. Now, let me make sure I get this right. And then I have one of my co-hosts has a question as well. So Austin became a capital because of the Tonkawa.
Uh, it remained a capital because of the Tonkawa. It became capital in 1839, but 3 years later, when Sam Houston became president of Texas, he declared a state of emergency and ordered everybody to leave Austin. So the population dropped from 800 to 200, and our city was a sitting duck with only 200 people in a city with all these buildings and that had all been built. It was a ghost town practically. So Austin needed help. So they invited the Tonkawa tribe to come live together with them for about 18 months to help protect the city from the raids that might be coming our way.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. That's some amazing history. Dap, you got a question for you, brother?
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the Apaches and the Comanches that came and ultimately tried to compete for this territory and the Tonkawa. I'm a little curious if you guys could tell our listeners a little bit about maybe the lifestyle and even what the name Tonkawa means. Would love to get more people interested to come out to this celebration.
What a great question that is. So their lifestyle in that day, first of all, they were a live and let live people. In other words, their campsite was open. Anybody could come in. You'd be treated with hospitality. But if you come to kill, if you come to hurt their women and children, then this tribe will turn on you and will fight you with everything they got. But their lifestyle, they were a meat-eating tribe. So they hunted buffalo, they hunted deer. That was the main two food sources, and they would gather, other things. They would eat a lot of things, but mainly buffalo and deer. And so they liked to roam. When they lived in Austin, they would need to go out, send hunting parties out into the countryside to try to hunt because there wasn't enough food, just close to the campsite. But they have always been a friendly people. Some people have said that they were the friendliest tribe to Texas ever. Certainly, there was no tribe more friendly to Texas than the Tonkawa. And when Austin needed their help, they came in, and about half the tribe came and lived here. And the name Tonkawa is a name that was given to them by a rival tribe. There's we know the town Waco north of us. Well, Waco is named after the Waco tribe of Indians, the Tawakoni, shortened to Waco. And when they saw the Tonkawa, that when they were under stress and they had their different groups all around, they would always stay together, like men, women, and children. They always moved together. They didn't separate people. And so they said, oh, those are the people that always stay together. And in their language, in the Wichita language, that word was Tonkawa, meaning they all stay together. So the Tonkawa didn't mind that name. And when people started calling them that, they allowed it because, it was kind of a cool name. And but their own name for themselves is different. It's in their own language. It's Tichkanwatich, which means the people previously mentioned. It's sort of hard to define what that means, and there's there's different thinking on that. But yeah, Tonkawa means they all stay together. And so there's a group of leaders that are coming and on this day, and they're moving around from place to place. But we're filming them for a documentary, and so I'm a producer of a documentary on the tribe. They've never had their story told before, and so we made sure that when the tribe is in Austin, that their delegation, they all stay together wherever they go. They're all staying together because it's really built really deep into their culture.
That's a beautiful thing. It sound like all of us need to do some history and some digging.
Yes,
for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, give us one more. Let us know all the information about the events happening tomorrow, and also if you guys are online and any information people can get online as well.
We should mention that later, I mean, they were here and they did help the settlers, but then they were removed. They were removed from Texas.
Wow.
And they had to leave, and they had to go resettle in Oklahoma. And I think there they moved several times also to finally establish their reservation today. And because of all those moves and because of the things that happened with the move, their population was reduced, and they suffered. And then they finally resettled and were able to build up their reservation. I mean, their community, and so I think now they're about 800, 900 people.
Yes.
That in their tribe.
Yes. We in Texas, we sent them into harm's way. We sent them into Oklahoma to live around the tribes that hated them because they were loyal to Texas. So they hated them, and they attacked them, and they attacked the women and children when the men were out hunting. And it caused the tribe to not be able to reproduce. And so their numbers dropped from 500 all the way down to less than 50 people. In about 1920, they were down to 50 people. But as Sylvia just said, they've turned the corner finally, and they're back up to 800 people. So they're an up-and-coming tribe once again.
That's beautiful.
Yes, and most recently they came back and purchased or acquired their sacred mountain, where they believe that that humanity was born.
Sugarloaf.
And they call it Sugarloaf, but I think in their language they call it La Tortuga, the turtle, and where they were born from there, and that the coyote was digging in the land and helped them come out, and then they were born. So I think there's a lot of beautiful stories, indigenous stories about creation, and we're going to learn history. We're going to learn about their different culture and their language. So I think it's going to be a wonderful event that we'll all be able to take something with us.
Sylvia, thanks for bringing that up. That how they were forced to leave their land and moved to Oklahoma in 1859 with that Trail of Tears. It's an atrocity that America just can't forget. These were the Native Americans. So thank you for bringing that up.
Amen to that. We owe a debt of gratitude, big time. We really, really do to the Native American indigenous people, without question. And this event, I think, is really important for kids and adults to learn our history, because I think we forget it. We're so into the now. We're so into what's happening now. But there is a history. There's a whole way of how we got here. You know what I mean? And it needs to be talked about. It needs to be shown. And this sounds like a wonderful event, and I'm glad you guys are doing this. Please give us the information one more time, if you would, please.
Yes. Well, Bob, you tell the first events, and I'll say the third one.
Okay. But before I do that, I'd just like to give a shout out to Mexic-Arte and KZI because, look, this is indigenous tribe. They've been gone for over 100 years. Haven't been invited officially to Austin in 150 years.
Wow.
And they're coming down. But where do they come? Who would receive them? I mean, you've got dignitaries, you have the mayor, you have the judge of Travis County that's going to read a proclamation. But where do they come? Who's going to actually take them in? It's the Latino community. It's Mexic-Arte that opened up their hearts and said, we want to do this. We want to acknowledge the history. And I just think Mexic-Arte is a standout example of what makes Austin Austin. and also KAZI to bring us on, to let us tell this story. You're doing the same thing. You're telling some of these stories that have not been told. And so anyway, I just really appreciate what's happening here. The big event in the morning is at 10:30 at Republic Square at 5th and Guadalupe. It's not going to be a long event, maybe half an hour, but there will be an opportunity to meet the tribe, some of the tribal delegation, the Chief Russell Martin, the president, Secretary Treasurer Rachel Starr, the top woman in the tribe, and about 5 other tribal members, leaders from the tribe are going to be there. So the city, the county will honor them at 10:30 at Republic Square tomorrow.
And that is, to me, that's a sacred or wonderful moment to be back on a land, a place where this community lived. And I think it's tomorrow. That is open to the public. It's free, and we invite everyone to come join us at Republic Square at 10:30, right? 10:30.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, it's a land that they helped save.
Exactly.
They helped save this. They helped save this town. They played that part, right? And then they were exiled, and people need to know that. Very, very important. Very important. So the Mexic-Arte Museum as well. We want to send a shout out to you guys. Thank you both for being here. We love working with you. I think this is my second time having you guys on this show. I think you've been on here before, but I think you're doing something fantastic. And this is a part of history, as far as I'm concerned, that definitely needs to be told. You know what I'm saying? It really, really does. So Sylvia Orozco, Bob Odell, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys coming on and praying for a wonderful event tomorrow, an event where people will learn and that history will be told. So I'm full. My heart is full, man. I'm telling you, because that's what we do at this station. We let history be known. So thank you guys. Thank you both again.
Thank
for coming
you.
on.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're listening to The Morning Grind here on 88.7 KAZI. My name is Jabari, and we will be